How's it going, YouTube? Hatcher's Hits here, back with another video. So today, I seem to be lately, the last few months, just kind of getting into collecting so much stuff. And a few months ago, when I was a kid, I used to have a bunch of comic books, and I would get into, I got in, kind of into collecting probably about like 20 or so years ago, and just bought a bunch of like older comics and things like that. And I just decided, you know what? I've been doing the PSA thing with getting trading cards graded, Pokemon cards and soccer cards and all that stuff. Why not get some of my comic books graded? So the company that is like basically at the top echelon, on trading cards, you have Beckett, BGS, and you have PSA. Those are basically the upper echelon. There's always arguments on which one's better. But with comic books, CGC, comic grading certified, something like it's CGC. It stands for something like that, comic grader certification or something like that. So basically what I did, and I get emails from them all the time. I don't really buy comic books anymore, but I'm on their mailing list, and they sent me an email because if you've heard of him, most people have, but Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, was doing a private signing event. So you could pay like $100 bucks, send them all of these comics, and he would sign them and they send them back. And that's what these are right here. I sent like 3 copies of Spawn #1 and then a copy of Spawn #2, which is the first appearance of Violator. So I can already kind of see what the grade on one of them is. But this other box contains some comics that I sent. Let me just go ahead and get in this box. I'm probably gonna have to open it up off camera. It just contains a bunch of comics that I had, basically been sitting in boxes for years and years and years. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put them up here. And they are in bubble wrap, so I'm going to have to get all this out and kind of, I don't expect really high grades on these. They're really old comic books. So let's just go ahead and stack all these right here. And I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to get the camera on all these. I might have to move some things around here. I don't know. Well, let's see if we can get it kind of. Okay, so first one. We have, this isn't going to really work. Let me try to adjust the camera a little bit so maybe I can get this kind of better. Maybe that might work. I'll probably knock it down, but okay. So first thing we have, and honestly, I kind of thought this would be a really low grade. I was hoping for a 2.0 grade. I don't know if you know anything about comic book grading, but it basically goes from like 0.5. You can have an NG, which is a no grade, which is like if someone sends in a page of like Action Comics #1 or Detective Comics #27, which is the first appearance of Superman and Batman, respectively. So this was the first appearance of Wasp. It graded 1.8. So as I was saying, the grading scale is like 0.5 being really terrible up until 10, which is basically like Gen Mint, which is like unheard of. In the comic book world, like a 10.0 just doesn't like happen. It's like even more rare than I would imagine like a Black Label would be for like Beckett. It just does not happen. Like 9.8 is considered like upper echelon. That's like a perfect copy, pretty much. It's weird. So yeah, first appearance of the Wasp. So with the movies and everything, I had this, got it years ago. It's in really bad condition, but I thought it'd be really neat to get it graded. It's probably like a $400 or $500 comic like that. So next thing we have is Fantastic Four number 49. Awesome. First appearance of Galactus. Sorry, with the way my camera is, maybe I should just put these kind of over here this way, and then either way you're probably not gonna be able to see it very well no matter how I do this. Okay, we'll go back to this. Sorry, this is kind of a new thing for me. I'm used to doing cards. We have the first appearance of Galactus. This is a comic book from 1966. Super old. Galactus was like one of my favorite villains growing up. I just thought he's not really a villain. I mean, to be honest, I mean, he kind of is. I mean, the guy like eats planets to survive. So, what can you do? So got a 4.0, off-white pages, kind of expected for a comic as old as this. Next one we have, okay, so 7.5, that's pretty nice. Okay, not bad. Off-white. This is X-Men number 64. It's the first appearance of Sunfire. So I had that sitting around, and I basically kind of I renewed my subscription to submit some comics to get signed by Jim Lee at Baltimore Comic Convention. So kind of a part of that thing, you get like credit to spend on grading other comics. So these are like the comics I decided to grade for that. Whoa, 8.0, nice. Okay, so this is the first appearance of Sauron. It's X-Men number 60. If you can see that. White pages, that's a great grade. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, nice. Definitely like that. All right, the last one before we get into the Spawn is going to be an advertisement, and we have Amazing Spider-Man number 42, and it's a 4.5 in off-white pages, about what I expected. So this is basically the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson in like a cameo on the last page of the comic. So a lot of people, I think, consider maybe the next issue her first appearance. I'm not sure, but this is kind of this is a pretty iconic comic book right here. I mean, technically the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson, which anybody that knows Spider-Man knows that's a kind of a pretty big character. So the next ones we have Spawns, and these are signed by Todd McFarlane. You can see right here, he signed them, and then what CGC does is they witness the signature. Whoa, and there goes a bunch of stuff. I want to make sure these don't like fall over. Okay, so basically what CGC does is they witness the signature of the comic book artist or writer or who's ever signing this, and then they grade it, and then they encase it. If you get a 9.8, that's like really good. Like that's really what you want to go for modern comics. If you get a 9.9, you kind of just won the lottery. Like I think last time I saw like New Mutants number 98, like there was a 9.8 copy would go for like $700-800, but like a 9.9 copy would go for like 10 grand or something crazy like that. It was absolutely nuts. So this is the first appearance of Violator. Anybody that knows Spawn knows who the Violator is. Got a 9.8. Awesome. Super happy about that. That's sick. So the next we have is 3 copies of Spawn number 1. So sweet, another 9.8. And then Todd McFarlane, you can see signed right here. I got these graded because the movie's coming out, I think later this year or next year. So I think the value in these is going to go up significantly. So if this movie like is really successful, and that's kind of the thing with comic books now. You look at like just lately, the Lock and Key came out on Netflix, and now number 1 of that issue is selling for like $200-300. The Boys is a comic book series. The Umbrella Academy. As soon as these things are either announced that they're going to be made into like a Netflix show or something like that, or they're actually a full featured movie, they just they blow up. And sorry, I got some cars over here falling down because I have too much over here. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the way I kind of figured it was Spawn. If it's highly successful, which it probably will be. I mean, knowing Spawn and Todd McFarlane, we'll see. I mean, the first one did kind of suck. It was really campy, but supposedly this one's made in kind of a like Spawn's not even really the main character. It's humans trying to figure out the legend of Spawn or something like that. Who this guy is. So it has kind of a mystique to it. So we'll see how that works out. So another one, 9.8. And then the last one, I already can see it, is a 9.8 as well. So that was like super awesome. I had like about 10 copies of this Spawn number 1 that I got when I was like in the 90s when I was in college actually, that I just kind of put away. And what I did is I just took what I felt were like the 3 best copies of Spawn number 1, and I had a couple copies of Spawn number 2. And honestly, I did not think any of them would get a 9.8. I thought, they'd get like 9.6s or something like that. I was hoping for at least one 9.8. But 3 of them, I mean, just absolutely blows my mind. I mean, that's awesome. I'm super happy about that. So anyway, just kind of wanted to share that. I thought it was a really cool thing that I kind of did. You know, got some of my old comic books when I was younger graded. So that's kind of how that happens. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.